Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Are you tired of missing out on family life just to be treated like another truck number? Since 1986, Southeast Carriers has been a family-operated business based in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Being family-owned ourselves, we understand the importance of family, which is why we value it above all else. With our large number of dedicated lanes and our friendly staff, we are able to evenly divide your home time with the amount of time you spend on the road. We offer multiple benefits with large company pay now starting at $20 per hour, all while keeping a small company environment. For more information, visit our website, southeastcarriers.com, or check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
Southern Craft Manufacturing is dedicated to creating the finest quality and greatest value products in the death care industry. Southern Craft has perfected blending old world craftsmanship with modern manufacturing technologies to create a full line of steel, wood, and corrugated caskets. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, Southern Craft is now looking to hire local and regional truck drivers, welders, and production workers, each with great starting pay and a benefits package. For more information, visit southerncraftmfg.com.
If you're looking for a company that can do it all when it comes to building, look no further than Tennessee Properties. From new home builds to remodels and commercial projects, our contractors work hard to give your space a new life from planning to finishing touches. Whether it's new interiors or dirt work, they see your big picture without forgetting the small details. In the market for a new home, they partnered with Freeman Development to bring new homes to the Oak Hill subdivision of Lawrenceburg. That's Tennessee Properties, licensed and insured. Call today or visit tennessee.com.
Good Works at Home, formerly known as the Summit at Home, is a licensed non-skilled agency dedicated to helping you maintain your independence at home for as long as possible. Our compassionate and caring staff provide support in various areas, including dressing, bathing, personal hygiene, transportation, cleaning, and companionship. Please call our office about services, payment options, and long-term care policies at 931-762-2310. We look forward to assisting you with keeping your independence longer.
Efficiency, reliability, accuracy. Move forward with your real estate sale or purchase with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County, the most experienced closing team around. Working with clients locally and throughout the state, we offer a wide range of services, including the expertise of an on-staff attorney, backed by our more than 49 years experience in titles and closings. We get the job done on time at a fair price and ensure every last detail is correct. Our goal is to give you peace of mind. When you work with us, you work with people who live where you do. We understand the importance of the real estate community and strive to build strong relationships with all parties involved in the process. Whether you're buying a home, selling a business, acquiring land, or anything in between, you're in good hands with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County.
Put the most experienced closing team on your side. Contact Title and Escrow of Lawrence County today.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody in here to this Wednesday edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. I'm your host, Michael Marks, and we have an absolute jam-packed show today. We've got high school baseball to break down. We've got high school softball to look at. We even have the Major League update, and then we break into college sports, and the transfer portal in college basketball is alive and well. And we're also right in the heart of things in college baseball as well. So we're going to jump right in first with high school baseball. Loretto Mustangs had a two-game series, their last district series of the season, on Monday and Tuesday against the Forest Rockets. The Mustangs were able to get a sweep, picked up the win at home 4-1 on Monday, and a game that was an absolute duel on the mound between two very talented pitchers. For the Mustangs, Case and Springer goes the complete game, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 12 strikeouts to 1 walk. You look at the other end for Reed Gentry, the starting pitcher for Forest, went 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 8 strikeouts to 2 walks. So a very good pitching battle. The Mustangs offense, I'm not going to say it was alive and well, but definitely was able to get the job done. Mason Tidwell goes 2 for 3, 2 runs scored for him. Kason Springer able to reach twice, a single and a walk. You had Raleigh Ellis able to reach 3 times, a hit, an error, and a walk. The only thing from concern in that game is anybody outside of those 3 guys, only one was able to reach base 1 time. That was a Cooper Burleson hit. But listen, if the pitching was as good as it was and the only 1 error defensively, I think you'll definitely take that. So a good 4-1 win for the Mustangs on Monday. On Tuesday, they had to hit the road to Chapel Hill to take on the Rockets, and it was a game where the Mustangs, they got up early and they stayed up the entire game. The offense was exactly what it needed to do, did exactly what it needed to do. 9 runs in the first 3 innings, 6-run first. Mustangs 10 runs on 17 hits, and like I mentioned, the hits came aplenty. You had Mason Tidwell go 3 for 4, 2 runs scored. He had a solo home run, and just go back and watch that one. He sent that one for a ride back in the 3rd inning. Kason Springer went 2 for 4, had 3 RBIs. He had a 3-run shot in the first that got the scoring started. Raleigh Ellis goes 4 for 4, has 4 huge hits in that game. But even some guys a little further down the lineup, Ben Lyles got 2 hits. Cooper Burleson with 2 hits. Jaden Aaron got a base knock, as did Braden Bennett. Grant Fisher got a hit. Walks not as much, only 1 drawn walk on the night, but listen, when the offense is doing what it needs to do and you're able to chase a Forest starting pitcher out in just the 2nd inning, definitely got to feel good about yourselves there. Mason Tidwell on the mound goes 5 innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. Jack Vandergriff came in, pitched the 6th, went 1 inning with 2 strikeouts. Listen, you beat a team 10-0, and you only allowed 3 base runners. 3 errors is maybe a bit of concern, all coming from infielders, but again, when your typical everyday starting shortstop is on the mound, that can kind of take some things away from it. And obviously, the 3 errors didn't end up hurting the Mustangs any. A good win there. Mustangs improved to 11-7 on the season, 6-2 in district play. Now in sole possession of first place. Haven't clinched the regular season district title yet. Still some more games to be played out elsewhere, but right now in sole possession of first place. We'll look at the district standings after we talk about Summertown, and just brought them up, so we'll talk about the Eagles. Had a 2-game series this week against Community. Played the Vikings at home on Monday and then went on the road last night. A 3-0 win at home in game number 1. Community switched up their starting pitching for the game and actually went with Wes Haley, a guy that pitched in relief the week before. He goes 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Summertown's offense was a little down, but it was an absolutely dominant outing on the mound from Braden Keaton. Goes 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. A complete game on just 74 pitches. I mentioned the Kason Springer complete game from Monday. He went 105 pitches. So the fact that you were able to mow through a lineup in just 74 pitches, keep the strikeout numbers and the walk numbers low, force a bunch of ground balls, let your defense play it behind you. Really just a couple of bright spots offensively. On Monday, you had Kason Blackwood go 3 for 3, 3 singles scored there. John Colby Stanley 2 for 3. Elijah Huckabee goes 2 for 3, and then Graham Howell able to reach twice as well, a base hit and a walk. But then coming into Tuesday, you really didn't know what to expect, because you look at last Tuesday against Loretto. Ty Wood, the starting pitcher for Community, had a pretty good outing, and Summertown was looking to find some hot spots in the offense, and find it they did. A 10-0 win on Tuesday night, and again, another complete game, this time from Jackson Bennett. He goes 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, and a district series where you are only using 2 starting pitchers, nobody out of the bullpen. You got to feel good if you're Summertown. Again, 10 runs on 10 hits, and the offense was there. Kason Blackwood, 3 hits again in the series, 5 singles, 1 triple. Ryder Blackwood able to went 1 for 2, had 3 walks drawn at the top of the order. Aiden Perez a hit, John Colby Stanley, 2 hits, 4 RBIs on those 2 hits. Cecil Williams had an outstanding game. He was able to reach base 4 times. Twice got a base hit, once a walk, and then once was hit by a pitch. Just the offense was outstanding for Summertown. 3 runs scored by Aiden Perez, 2 from Ryder Blackwood, 2 from Kason Blackwood. The big thing in this one, Graham Howell was able to reach base 3 times at the back of the order, and when you're able to do that, it allows the top of the order, like Ryder Blackwood, like Aiden Perez, to come up with runners on, and you just kept it going. A 4-run third, a 4-run fourth, and able to tack 2 more on, one in the 6th, one in the 7th. A great offensive performance from the Eagles. And listen, the defense did its job just as well. Again, only allowing 4 base runners, and you gave up 2 walks to 2 of the 3 top guys in their order, and then funny enough, the 2 hits came from 7 and 8 in the Vikings batting order, but really not able to string anything together all night. And like I mentioned, just a dominant outing from Jackson Bennett on the mound. Eagles now improved to 14 and 8 on the season, 4 and 2 in district play. Now in sole possession of second place in District 9 AA. We'll look at those standings here in a moment after we get done talking about the last team in the county with the Lawrence County Wildcats. Cats had a tough game on Monday against Franklin County. I believe their next to last district series. Got down 8-0 early in this one. Really able to build on innings were the Rebels, and Lawrence County offense didn't really get sparked until late. Logan Mays has a tough outing on the mound, goes 4 1/3, 4 runs, 3 hits, or 5 hits. 4 1/3, 4 hits, 5 runs. Only 3 of them earned. The 5 walks, though, a bit of a caution, and 3 strikeouts. And listen, Kelly, the starting pitcher for Franklin County, had an outstanding outing. Got you all the way until nearly the 6th inning, and then you had to bring your big guy out of the bullpen. Denton goes 1 inning, 6 hits, 4 runs. Lawrence County got all 7 of them back in the bottom half of the 7th. Ended the game with the winning run on first base, but just got the offense started a little bit late. Jack Emerson able to reach 3 times out of hit 2 and 2 walks drawn. Brayson Rose drew a walk. You had 1 for 4 from Brooks Durham, 1 for 3 from Jake Moore. Jack Story goes 1 for 3. Just not able to, and like I mentioned, just weren't able to really string things together there until the end. So Wildcats come back with a lot more momentum on Tuesday and get another 1-run victory. This one 5-4. The Wildcats score 5 runs on 10 hits, 1 error, and everyone, 8 of the 9 in the lineup were able to get a hit. You had Brayson Rose, Jack Emerson, Brooks Durham, and Jake Moore both go for 2 hits. Just a great outing. And then Morrison on the mound goes 5 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, only 2 of them earned, 5 strikeouts to 2 walks. And then Logan Clayton comes in and slams the door, gets the save, goes 1 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. Just an absolutely, I'm not going to say a dominant outing, but they got the lead early and held on to it. So an impressive win for the Wildcats. They improved to 18 and 6 on the season, 5 and 1 in district play. We'll look at the District 12 AAA baseball standings. Right now in first place at 18 and 6 on the season, 5 and 1 overall. You have the Lawrence County Wildcats in second. The team they just took down, the Franklin County Rebels, at 17 and 11 on the year, 4 and 2 in district play. The Tullahoma Wildcats are 12 and 11 overall, 4 and 2 in district. And then you have Giles County at 4th place, 14 and 10 overall, 3 and 3 in district play. And then Marshall County there in 5th place, 4 and 10 on the season, 0 and 6 in district play. And the lone series remaining for the Wildcats is that game against Marshall County, so you would expect at least a share of the district championship, barring anything crazy going on there. And it's looking good. I mean, you look on the baseball side of the 3 teams in the county, there's a team in first place, a team in second place, and then a team on the other side in first place as well. So baseball is going about as well as it can go in this county, and picking up 3 wins last night, all district wins, has got to feel good for the coaching staffs. So we'll turn on things over to softball, where we'll first check in with the Loretto Lady Mustangs. Had a senior night on Monday this week. We're taking on just across the border into Alabama, taking on the Lexington Lexington High School Lady Bears, and it was a back and forth game in that one as well. Loretto able to get a 1-0 lead in the first. Lexington comes back and puts up 2 in the top half of the second. Lady Mustangs come back and put 2 more in the bottom of the second, get the lead back, and then 2 really good innings from Lexington, able to put up 6 runs in the next 2 innings. And going into the 5th inning, it was 8-3. The Lady Mustangs really didn't have a whole lot going, and then you got to run back in the 5th. You got to run back in the 6th. It's 8-5 heading into the final inning, and they got it done. 4 runs in the bottom half of the 9th, 9 runs on 13 hits, a couple of errors for the Lady Mustangs defensively, which kind of got them in that hole, but listen, able to pick up a big win on senior night, allows them to build some momentum heading forward into district play, where they were back at home on Tuesday against the Forest Lady Rockets. Lady Rockets able to get the win there. 5 runs on 6 hits for Forest. Lady Mustangs, no runs on 4 hits. Breedley Winters, 2 for 4 at the top of the lineup, did a great job, but wasn't able to string anything together, again, with only having 4 hits. But Breedley did her job on the mound, went 6 1/3, 6 hits, 5 runs. Only 2 of them earned, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Again, a couple of those errors ended up hurting the Lady Mustangs in this one. And it wasn't a tremendous outing offensively for Forest, but Moreland on the mound goes 7 innings, 4 hits, only 1 walk, 15 strikeouts, and a big win for Forest there. Now on to the big. We had a big softball matchup yesterday in Community and Summertown. Again, these were the 2 top teams in the district, the 2 teams still undefeated in district play, and kind of curious how this one was going to go. Summertown pitched Olivia, so it was going to be Olivia Woods versus Prince from Community, and she was as good as advertised. Prince goes 7 innings, no runs, no hits, 1 run, 6 walks to 9 strikeouts. I mean, didn't give up a hit. Threw a no-hitter. Now, the 6 walks is a bit of a cause for concern, but a complete game against an offense like Summertown, and to keep everybody hitless, it's just impressive. That's really the only way to put it. It was just impressive. Getting the strikeouts when you needed them, not walking too many batters in a row, and it was a good game from Olivia Woods on the mound. Only gave up 3 hits, but again, the 5 runs did end up hurting, especially a couple of hit batters, and just a dominant win for Community, picking up the victory 6-1. So we'll check on the District 9 AA softball standings. So in first place at 4-0 in district play, 16-7 on the season, is the Community Vi Queens. In second place, 20-5 on the season, 4-1 in district play, will be the Summertown Lady Eagles. Shortly behind them in third place, the Forest Lady Rockets, 12-11 overall, 3-2 in district play. In fourth place, the Loretto Lady Mustangs, 4-16 on the season, 0-4 in district play. And then behind them, 3-10 on the season, 0-4 in district play, are the Cascade Lady Champions. So we'll turn things over to AAA with the Lawrence County Lady Cats softball team. Had a tough game Monday outside of district play. District play is a little bit different in baseball and volleyball. Baseball, you play a series Monday, Tuesday. Softball, it's district games on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it's not, you play one team on Tuesday and the next team you play is the same team away on Thursday. A little bit different. So they were outside of district play on Monday and fell to a very good Lincoln County team, 7-2. Lincoln County 7 runs on 8 hits, 2 errors. Lawrence County 2 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, and that kind of tells you the story there. Just you had the hits, just weren't able to bring them around. Elizabeth Hagan 3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. Callie Brown followed her up 3 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs. And then you look, Edwards for Lincoln County was dominant. 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. Only one of them earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Only 2 extra base hits for Lawrence County and Callie Brown and Lily Lloyd. You like to see those numbers up and get the bats rolling. And listen, I've talked about it. This Lawrence County offense has the ability to get on a roll and get going, and they're tough to stop. Just weren't able to get it going in that game. So we'll jump to district play on Tuesday, where they were on the road in Lewisburg taking on Marshall County, 1 versus 2 in district play, and Lawrence County able to get the win at 10-7. We're able to build up a 7-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 4th, and just added on. I mean, it was dominant. You got all 10 runs in the 2nd to the 6th innings. Gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to make the score look a little closer than it may have originally indicated. But Elizabeth Hagan goes 7 innings to complete game, 10 hits, 7 runs, only 2 of them earned. Again, 4 errors for each team in this one, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and the hits were there. You had Lily Lloyd 4 for 5, 2 RBIs, a run scored. Callie Brown go 2 for 3, a walk drawn. Elizabeth Hagan 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Debbie Statham goes 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. I mean, really, just top to bottom, the lineup was going, and it was looking good while it was doing it. On the other end for Marshall County, not able to string as many hits together. Reiner gets the loss, goes 4 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs, and then Ketchum comes in after pitches the last 3 innings, goes 5 hits, 3 runs. but a big win for the Lady Cats. They improved to 16-11-1 on the season, 6-1 in district play, and now we'll take a look at the District 12 AAA softball standings. In first place, the Lawrence County Lady Cats at 16-11-1, as I mentioned, 6-1 in district play. Just behind them in second place, the Marshall County Tigerettes, 7-7 on the year, 4-3 overall in district play. Giles County shortly behind at 3-3 in district play. In fourth place, the Franklin County Rebelettes at 16-16 on the year, 3-4 in district play. That one lone loss to the Lady Cats. And then Tullahoma 9-10 overall on the season, 1-4 in district play at fifth place. But we remember how close some of those Lawrence County Tullahoma games are. That's a tough district. I mean, top to bottom, you're going to be asked to go out and perform. And looking at some of these scores for Lawrence County, 10-7 over Marshall County. You go back to week before, 5-4 over Giles County, 5-4 over Marshall County, 4-3 over Giles County. A lot of really, really close games. Now, they did have the 18-8 victory at Tullahoma, a 3-7 loss to Franklin County, a 6-3 win over Tullahoma, a game that you were trailing 2-3 before that walk-off grand slam. And these have all been really, really close district games, and the fact that Lawrence County is able to come out victorious is impressive. Lawrence County next up will have Franklin County on the road, and that's what we'll do. We'll take a look at what each of these teams have coming up for the remainder of the week. We will start with the Loretto Mustangs. We'll say 3 more games this week. We'll be on the road tomorrow night at Battle Creek at 6:30. That's going to be a tough game. Battle Creek, again, former Spring Hill coach Paul Lamb there, and we know how good Spring Hill was when he was there, and I would expect more of the same from Battle Creek. And then the big rivalry coming up this weekend, a Friday-Saturday series against Lawrence County. It will be at Lawrence County Friday night at 6:30, back at Loretto Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So 3 more games left on the week for Loretto, and they should be a lot of fun. And we have a bunch of in-county rivalries left for the remainder of the week because Summertown's next game up is against Lawrence County. That game will be tomorrow at Summertown at 6 p.m. And then Summertown will be having senior night this Friday at home against Rogers. That game will first pitch at 6:30. And as I just mentioned, Lawrence County has 3 in-county rival games the rest of the week. Again, tomorrow will be on the road at Summertown. That game will be at 6 p.m. And then Friday, the game at Lawrence County at 6:30, back at Loretto at 10 a.m. So that is the remainder of the week in baseball. On the softball side of things, we will look first at the Loretto Lady Mustangs. And again, for the remainder of the week, Thursday, tomorrow will be at home against Collinwood at 5 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday playing at the Bama Bash. Looking at Summertown for the remainder of the week, Thursday they will be on the road at Forest in a district play. That game will tip. Our first pitch will be at 5:30, and then their next game will not be until the next week at Community. And then looking at the Lawrence County Lady Cats schedule for the remainder of the week, just one game again tomorrow at Franklin County in district play at 5:30. So that will do it for the high school update here for baseball and softball. I'll turn things over to our Major League update, looking at both of the former Loretto Mustangs pitchers now pitching in the majors. You have Blade Tidwell with the San Francisco Giants as a relief pitcher, Ryan Weathers, New York Yankees, as a starting pitcher. Last outings for each of these guys, not their best. Blade last pitched April 12th against the Orioles, goes 1 inning, 3 hits, 2 runs. Both of them earned 1 strikeout. His ERA jumps from 0 to 3 as he gives up his first 2 runs of the year off a 2-run home run off the bat of Gunnar Henderson. So on the season, Blade, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Does not have a record yet, obviously. Hasn't picked up a win or a loss with a 3 ERA. Ryan Weathers, starting pitcher for the New York Yankees, actually threw last night against the Los Angeles Angels, and it was an iffy start, so to speak. Give up 3 solo shots to open the gate, but after that was good. His final line: 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, all 5 earned, 2 walks to 10 strikeouts, and does pick up a loss. His record drops to 0-2, and his ERA up to 4.29. So on the season, 21 innings, 22 hits, 10 runs, 7 walks to 28 strikeouts, an 0-2 record with a 4.29 ERA. His next start is slotted for this Sunday, April 19th, at home against the Kansas City Royals. First pitch scheduled for 12:35. Again, Tidwell hasn't pitched in coming up on 3 or 4 days, so I would expect him to be available. again, it's a little hard to test relief pitchers on when they're going to go, when they're not going to go. See if the Giants are playing tonight in Cincinnati at 5:40. I would assume may be able to go in that game, but again, with relief pitchers, it's a lot about matchups. And but again, it's been a couple days since he's pitched. Only went 1 inning, so I would assume him to be ready as soon as need be. So we'll jump things over to the college side of things, where we have a lot of transfer portal to talk about. So real quick before we get that started, I'm going to take a swig of water. All right, so let's jump right into it. And these first couple stories kind of involve Kentucky, and it's not necessarily like I'm picking on them or anything intentionally, just kind of the way the transfer portal has gone. So, starting things off, guard Denzel Aberdeen is transferring back to Florida. Aberdeen was a member of the Gators his first 3 years in school from 2022-23 all the way up until the Gators national championship season in 24-25. Then transferred to Kentucky last season, where he averaged 13.5 points per game. Aberdeen is currently looking for a fifth year of eligibility and will join the Gators if that extra year is granted. But something we're seeing in the transfer portal, it's not like the most frequent thing, but it's something that is starting to pop up with some guys, is guys going back to where they started, realizing that maybe looking elsewhere for a couple $100,000 really isn't the biggest deal when it comes to trying to win, trying to improve yourself, staying where you're comfortable. And we'll talk about it again with another former Kentucky Wildcat, quote-unquote, going home, as Colin Chandler has announced he is transferring to BYU. Chandler, a Utah native, signed his letter of intent to BYU back in November of 2021, but then decommitted back in April of 2024 to follow his head coach Mark Pope to Kentucky. And after 2 seasons in Lexington, averaging about 9.5 points per game, Chandler going back to BYU, and that gives them a very valuable shooter. Chandler, sneaky athletic as well, very, very good player, and it's a nice pickup for Kevin Young and his squad. And talk about a good pickup for Kevin Young and BYU. More good news, as star guard Robert Wright III has withdrawn his name from the transfer portal and is coming back to BYU. This comes just a couple of days after his visit to Kentucky. Now, if you want to hint at tampering, Colin Chandler has been committed to BYU for a couple of days now. Robert Wright's visit to Kentucky, I believe, was yesterday. So I don't think there's any connection between those two, but maybe seeing Colin Chandler has inspired Robert Wright to want to come back to BYU. Was a very valuable guard for that team last year. Was part of a huge trio between him, Richie Saunders, and AJ DeMonsa that could have taken BYU on a run if Saunders didn't get hurt there at the end of the year. But a nice pickup for Kevin Young to get Wright to stick around again. It's been a couple of years and at Baylor before transferring to BYU. Some more news. Former Texas men's basketball head coach and current ESPN analyst Rodney Terry is expected to join Mark Byington's staff at Vanderbilt. Despite not having maybe the most success as a head coach, Rodney Terry is a very valuable assistant. You could see he spent 10 years under Rick Barnes at Texas, spent another couple years under Chris Beard at Texas before things went astray there, and then was actually the head coach for a couple of seasons. Very, very valuable recruiter. Under his time under Rick Barnes, helped bring in guys like Kevin Durant, like DJ Augustine, and was a member of that Longhorns coaching staff that was able to reach the 2003 Final Four. So this is a huge pickup for Mark Byington. And again, if you can get bring in some high-level recruits, and not saying that Vanderbilt doesn't, but saying you're able to bring in a guy that was as impactful in college as a Kevin Durant or a DJ Augustine, you could be looking at potentially a Vanderbilt team in the Final Four in the next couple of years. Virginia Tech transfer guard Neokilis Avdalis has committed to North Carolina. The freshman from Greece had an up-and-down season, averaging about 12 points per game, only 30% from three as a guy that takes 4 or 5 threes a game. You like to see those numbers up a little bit. But Avdalis had and like I mentioned, an up-and-down year, because you go back to the early going in the season, and his second game of the year, now it was against Providence, in an overtime game, played 34 minutes, had 33 points. Had a 30-point game against Western Carolina, had a 20-point game against Stanford in conference play. But as you got to the end of conference play, or really that middle stretch from most of January, 8 points, 10 points, 2 points, 9, 5, 14 here. but did end the season on a good note. In 3 of his last 4 regular season games against Wake, UNC, and Boston College, went for 17 points, 19 points, and then 15 points. So this could be a good pickup, a tall, lanky guard for Michael Malone and his staff. And you got to remember, North Carolina now has a former NBA coach as their head coach. Whether that's good or bad, I'm kind of curious to see the team he puts out on the floor in November, because it's North Carolina. It's a big name. They're going to have a lot of eyes on them. But you saw what happened with the football program. They're bringing Bill Belichick, and that first game went awful. It went terribly. Now the season, it didn't go good either. I mean, I don't want to say it's tarnished his legacy, but it definitely puts a bit of a strain on things for me for North Carolina. But now, obviously, I think North Carolina basketball is in a way better spot than North Carolina football was coming up, and it's a lot easier to build a team of 10 guys, so to speak, versus 90. But I think that's a really good pickup for North Carolina, a kid that needs some NBA-level development, because I think he's probably going to be looking for a future in the NBA. He's found the right guy, found the right coach to do it. I mean, we saw what Malone was able to do in his time in the NBA. That's a winner. Former Georgia big man Summertown Surreal has committed to Miami. A big fill for Jay Lucas and his squad, who really lacked a true interior presence this past season. His first year in Coral Gables, that's a huge pickup. If he can get more of the team to stick around, which is obviously asking a lot nowadays. I mean, you forget this was a Miami team that was a 7 seed heading into the second round and played Purdue very well. And again, what hurt them was, well, Fletcher Loyer had a good game, but it was kind of the lack of a big man. And nothing against Shelton Henderson, but if he's leading your team in rebounds, then what are some guys like Ernest Uday? He's not out there to score a lot, but I think that's why the pickup of Surreal is so big for them. A guy that can go in there and get 10, 12 rebounds a night and provide a bit of a scoring threat. I mean, Surreal's not going to be going out there dropping 20 points. I mean, I would say he has the ability to. But only a 9.6 rebound kind of guy. Didn't score in the NCAA tournament. Looking at his season high in points, looks like it is 18, and that happened against South Carolina. But this is a guy that has had a 15 rebound game, a 10 rebound game, another 10 rebound game against Alabama. So this is a guy that can really change the physicality and the interior of your team, and a great pickup for Coach Lucas down there in Miami. So Louisville has picked up 2 big commitments out of the portal with former Kansas big man Flory Badunga and former Oregon guard Jackson Shellstat. Badunga in his sophomore year at Kansas averaged 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game. Shellstat in his third year at Oregon averaged 15.6 points, 5 assists a game, averaged at least 13 points per game each year he spent in Eugene. But the big talking point with these two is they were asking for a lot of NIL money, and it's assumed that Louisville is, combined, giving these guys somewhere in the range of $7.5 to $8 million in NIL money, which I just feel like is insane in college basketball. I mean, there were the reports of Kentucky spending somewhere in the ballpark of $20 million on a team last year. I mean, I understand some guys are valuable, but even if you're spending $2 million on it per player, I mean that's a lot of money. And especially in basketball, because in most universities there is one sport that is a revenue gainer, and it's football. You saw the report, South Carolina, who is one of the most dominant women's programs of the last decade, they're losing on average $6 million a year just in women's basketball. And no telling, obviously the men's team hasn't had as much success, but when you have 4 teams and nobody's showing up, you're not able to bring in much revenue. That hurts the team a lot. So, it's going to be big to see if Louisville's able to keep up these huge NIL contributions with really and not much to show for it. And listen, I'm a big Pat Kelsey fan. I think he's a great head coach. You see what he did at Louisville. Came from the graveyard to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. Just wasn't able to do much with it this year. So we're going to take a look over onto the college baseball side of things for a moment, as we do have a new top 25 in both college baseball and in college softball. One moment as I pull that up. We will start first on the baseball side of things. So still at number one at the top of things, UCLA, and it doesn't feel like they're ever going to lose. Now, Ron Chalowski, the projected number one pick in the Major League Draft coming up in June, looks like he may have a bit of a hand injury. There was a play last night where he took a shot to the hand, so hopefully everything's okay with him. Georgia Tech bumps up to number 2 in the country, coming off a series win over Florida State. And man, they look good. I mean, that whole team is just dominant, and it's obvious that the ACC is probably, if not number one, the number 2 conference in the country. I mean, they have 4 teams in the top 9. North Carolina at number 3, shortly behind Texas at number 4. Off, took a bit of a drop from 2 to 4 following that series loss to Texas A&M. Georgia at number 5, Oregon State 6. Coastal Carolina still in the top 10 at number 7. Still looking to get some of these, some of their arms back for them. Again, we're missing their projected Friday and Saturday arms. Florida State at number 8, Virginia at number 9, Texas A&M rounding out the top 10. Alabama falls to 11 after getting swept by Arkansas this past weekend, and the Hogs at number 16. We'll get to that. USC at 12, Auburn at 13, Oklahoma 14, West Virginia jumps to 15. Arkansas at 16, Mississippi State falls from 9 to 17, Kansas at number 18, Oregon at 19, getting a big series win against Nebraska. Number 20 is Florida, number 21 UCF, coming off a tough series loss, as is Southern Miss, who fell to number 22. Arizona State up at number 23, and man, is Hairston having an insane season or what? He's right now close to, if not on pace, to break Charlie Condon's BB Core era home run record. Now, there's a lot of people, the old college baseball fans that don't like, the whole BB Core era things. But, I mean, if we're being realistic, and, some of the college baseball records from back in the 90s are just absolutely insane. Let me pull it up. So Pete and Cavaglia has the Division I record for home runs in a career and in a single season. Had 100 in his career at Oklahoma State, a single season home run in 1985 of 48. Okay, there are teams that it's very few, but there's been teams that don't hit 48 in a season. But if you look, all of these records are before 1998. Jeff Ledbetter at Florida State, 1982, hit 42 home runs. Lance Berkman at Rice, 1997, hit 41. Brandon Larson at LSU in 1997, he hit 40. And people are talking about that Tennessee team in 2024 possibly beating that LSU home run record in 1997. We had a guy hit 40 by himself. I mean, you think it was you think Christian Moore was unconscious with over 30. I mean, just insane. And I kind of want to pull up Lance Berkman. His stats in college were insane. Let's see if I can find his college stats. It was like a screenshot from a game at the College World Series. Yes, in 1997. Lance Berkman at Rice. He batted .431, had 41 home runs, 134 RBIs, scored 109 runs himself, had an on-base percentage of .538, and was slugging over 1,000. His OPS was nearly 1,600. Now, obviously, Lance Berkman didn't have nearly that level of success in college or in the big leagues, but I mean, just an. He during his years in college, the 3 years he played, had a .385 career batting average, 67 home runs, and 272 RBIs. I mean, enough said right there. The .431 average, 41 home runs, and 134 RBIs is maybe the greatest college season of all time. So to say somebody is going to break, that record, the 48 home run record, is quite silly. So I like looking. I like separating, pre-BB core to post-BB core, because you look at the record now, and I think it's Jack Caglione or Charlie Condon right now that has the home run record. right now. I had, I believe, 34, 33. Yes, 34. You had, I think Caglione had 33. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. There we go. Okay, so, just behind Brandon Larson at LSU is Charlie Condon, who hit 37 in 2024. Caglione, 35. Some more recent numbers. Again, Christian Moore at Tennessee hit 34 in 68 games. You had Caglione the year before with 33. That's a insane stretch. Hit 68 home runs in 2 years in this day and age. But you look, and most of these are, Ivan Melendez had that record for the BB Core era record for a while. There was nobody that was able to hit home runs. Chris Bryant had 31 in his last year at San Diego, and that was insane in 2013. But it is a team that the offenses have definitely, I would say, are slightly on a downtick this year. But man, that 2024 season, when you had Caglione, Condon, and Christian Moore all in the same conference, and 3 of those 4 made it to the College World Series. Florida even made it to the Final Four that year as an unranked team. So, really interesting there. Went off on a tangent. Now I remember exactly what I was talking about. It was Landon Hairston. But yes, Landon Hairston is having an outstanding season this year at Arizona State. Real quick, pulling up his stats for the year. So far on the year is batting .445 in 38 games. All started with an OPS of 1556. Scored 58 runs, 69 hits, 17 doubles, 2 triples, 23 home runs, 65 runs batted in. A slugging percentage over 1,000. Has 160 total bases on the year. 23 walks to 17 strikeouts. Is grounded into 8 double plays. Is 9 for 11 on the base paths. The kid's going to be a big leaguer. Well, I'll just go ahead and say it like that. And he's not the, because you go back and look at those guys I just mentioned. Charlie Condon was like 6'6", big guy. I heard someone say it the way they worded it. It was Charlie Condon was bred in a factory to be a home run hitter, and that's a pretty good way to put it. He's 6'6", 215, so a big lanky guy, but still big. Jack Caglione, he is also a large individual himself. Jack Caglione, 6'4", 250, and then Christian Moore, not as big as those two, but still a large man himself. Look that up real quick. Christian Moore, 6'2", 210, 6'1", 210, pardon. But Landon Hairston at just 5'11", a hair under 200 pounds, and he's just going off for the Sun Devils. And it doesn't matter if it's the home, if it's on the road. You don't hit 23 home runs this season on accident, because there's not a whole lot of guys that have numbers that high this year. Boston College at 24, Ole Miss back in at 25, coming off a series sweep over LSU. Not too upset about anything in these rankings now. There were a good bit of Tennessee fans thinking that Tennessee should have jumped back in the top 25 following that weekend sweep of Mississippi State. I still need to see more. Because I came on this show last week and said it's the bullpen. That's the problem. The starters will go give you 6 good innings, 7 good innings, whatever it is, and then the bullpen will blow it unless your name's Cam Appenzeller. Well, I think he was the only bullpen guy that gave up a run this weekend, but it was only one, and it was his first earned run of SEC play in 25 innings. But the bullpen, it showed up. The offense was able to put runs on the board early, as they have been all season, and then got stagnant. But Friday night they showed some improvement. Mississippi State came back, and I don't know if they tied the game up, but I know it got to at least a 1-run game. Then you had the 2 runs in I believe the 7th or 8th inning. And this was following some base running blunders in the 6th. They're getting there, and they are coming up on a tough stretch here in the season. But this is when you get yourself back into tournament considerations. Now, we're on the outside looking in before last weekend. Now we're looking at a 2 seed in the Atlanta Regional, which would be Georgia Tech. Coming up this weekend, It's another Mississippi team. It's at home, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series against number 25 Ole Miss. This is coming after an 11-1 walk-off win and run rule win against UNC Asheville the night before. But listen, you have Ole Miss and you have Alabama, two very good teams at home before you hit the road a couple more times and travel to Lexington to take on Kentucky, and then you close out conference play at home against Texas, and then on the road the next weekend at Oklahoma before you head to Hoover for the SEC tournament. And boy, is it a ton of fun in college baseball or what. We'll get you ready for the weekend series on the show Friday. The new Softball America Top 25, and no shocker, Oklahoma at 1, Alabama closely behind at 2, Nebraska at 3, Texas Tech at 4, Arkansas 5, UCLA 6, Florida 7, Texas 8, Tennessee 9, Virginia Tech 10, A&M 11, Florida State 12, Georgia 13, Duke 14, LSU 15, Arizona 16, Oregon number 17, 18th ranked Mississippi State, number 19 Washington, UCF at number 20, Stanford climbs in at number 21, Oklahoma State at 22, and then Kansas and Louisville to round out the top 25. And listen, I think this is a great top 25 in college softball. You look at the top, because I see Tennessee at 9 and get a little upset. If you look at the teams in front of them, you look in college baseball, and really anybody outside of, we'll say, outside the top 5 or 6, everybody's got 10 losses, pretty much. The fact that this team is able to, stay in that top 10 with those teams, despite the offense playing a little bit subpar, I think you got some positivity to look at, obviously. But hey, still a lot to fight for. But you look at how tough the SEC is. I get it, I'm a bit of a conference homer, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in the top 9, 7, 8, 9 in the top 15, and 10 of the top 18 teams in the country. That's more than half of the SEC, and obviously a lot more teams on the outside than on the outside looking in. But hey, that's just what you're going to get. You got to win games to get in the top 25, and unfortunately, somebody's got to lose every weekend. Somebody's got to win every weekend, and that's just kind of how it goes. You can lose and still stay in. Obviously we've seen Tennessee struggle their fair bit, but man, the rich stay richer with Oklahoma. They take a couple years off, let Texas and Texas Tech fight over it for a little bit, and then they're right back in it. Just insane. So we're going to take a look at the transfer portal with Tennessee, because obviously, Rick Barnes is going to pretty much be running an entirely new team out there next year. So let's keep everybody up to date with what's going on. So you're losing 3 guys who are out of eligibility. That's Jacoby Gillespie, Felix Okpara, and Amari Abram. Abram didn't really play much there towards the end of the year, as Tennessee had kind of found their rotation out. Leaving in the transfer portal, it's a big loss. You're losing Cade Phillips, Jalen Carey, J.P. Estrella, Bishop Boswell, Clarence Masamba, and Amari Evans. A couple of those guys have already made commitments. J.P. Estrella quickly made the move to Michigan, and for him and wanting to win, that's the good spot to be. Looks like he's going to be maybe there a Daymara or a Morez Johnson kind of guy this year. Obviously, I would assume some of these guys from Michigan are coming back. Jalen Carey making the move to Missouri, his 4th school in 4 years, and kind of, from some reports of maybe a fake Twitter account, it seems like he likes to burn his bridges. He had just said after the tournament that he would love to come back to Knoxville, and then obviously I think he was expecting maybe a pay raise or something like that, and Tennessee was looking elsewhere. So Carey hit the portal. He's going to Missouri. There were some funny possible shots from a guy that maybe pretending to be it looked like maybe a burner account type of deal there. Bishop Boswell this morning committed to Maryland. Some other guys, Cade Phillips, Alabama was in the early lead with him. Obviously, his dad, former quarterback at Alabama, or maybe his uncle, I believe. But it seems like Texas A&M has jumped in the mix recently, and that seems exactly like the kind of player that Bucky McMillan would want. a big, athletic, physical forward that likes to get out and run. Not the greatest scorer, but is excellent defensively and can rebound the ball really well. Amari Evans, him being a Pittsburgh native, I would assume Pitt is in the lead for him. But Pitt has made some pretty big pickups through the portal already. Now, I don't think Amari Evans is looking to go to Pitt and be the number one guy, because remember, he's 4 points per game. But again, Charleston Southern transfer guard Alon Sumler is committed to Pitt. He's averaging 19 points per game. They just picked up Jaleel Bethea from Alabama. So not exactly sure where we're going to see him end up, but I would assume it's probably Pitt. Did see him working out with former Arkansas guard Malik Thomas, so maybe Arkansas could be in the mix there. I heard initial rumors of Gonzaga. I'm not sure exactly how true that is. Now, Clarence Masamba, it's looking like he may return to the Vols. Now, didn't play, I don't think played much, if at all, this year. So right now, of the roster returning, you have Dwayne Brown and Troy Henderson, two freshmen. Dwayne Brown had a good start to the year, started to linger as the year went on. Troy Henderson was battling a shoulder injury, didn't play much after the first couple of weeks of SEC play. Still undecided, Nate Ament. Obviously, every smart person in the room thinks he should go to the NBA draft. He's going to be a lottery pick. He's 6'11" and can do everything. Now, because he didn't make every shot, Tennessee thinks he should come back and work on his game a little bit more. And you can tell there's a great relationship and a bond between him and Coach Rick Barnes. I think he'll probably go if he can stay. Run it back, we'll go back to the Elite Eight. I'll enjoy that. Ethan Berg also in there. Tennessee's hosting a lot of transfers, so maybe some guys in their spot feeling a little bit, maybe like their spot might get taken. So already committed through the portal, Tyler Lundblade, the first guard transfer from Belmont. Some people say the best shooter that has ever come through Belmont, and if you know how good some of the players have been there, look out. Not saying he's going to come in and be a Chaz Lanier, Dalton Connect kind of guy, but if you can bring a guy off the bench that's going to be a 40, he was nearly 50% from three. That is insane. That is Milan Momcilovic numbers from this year, and he's also in the portal. Not sure where he'll end up, but he does have a no contact tag, so seems like he knows where he's going. Probably Michigan or something like that. But another interesting pickup, Cal guard Day Ames, a guy that was somewhere in the 12 to 15 point per game range this year, an extremely crafty guard from Cal, and I would say probably going to be fighting for the two guard spot on this Tennessee team next year. Is about 6'3", 6'4", so has some size to him, but I think is going to take a huge jump from his junior to his senior year out of hometown of Chicago. Spent this will be his fourth school in 4 years, which can be a little bit of a cause for concern. But his jump from his sophomore year at Virginia, where he averaged 8 points and 2 boards a game, to now 17 points per game, it's impressive. And if he can get anywhere near that 17, if he can just be a 12 to 14 point per game guy for Tennessee, kind of. I look at him a lot in that similar to the Jordan Gainey role from a couple years ago. May not start, but he'll be that first guy off the bench because Rick Barnes always has a good sixth man that can come off the bench and score. Because look at this year's Tennessee team. When they went to the bench, if there was ever a moment where Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament were not on the floor, I did not feel good about a score. If you got 3 or 4 guys out there that are a Day Ames caliber player coming off the bench, that just got to feel good. Miles Rubin, the big man from Loyola Chicago, also a good pickup. And he's someone that, I'll just put it lightly, he is, from his highlights, is a complete reincarnation of Felix Okpara. He's a big guy, and he only dunks. Averaged 11 points per game last year. Went for 20 and 9 in the A-10 championship game against Davidson, a loss in overtime. But he's had some 20-point 10 rebound performances. Went for 21 and 10 against VCU. That was a team that made the second round of the NCAA tournament. Went for 15 and 10 against George Washington. I really think the most of the problem was that Loyola Chicago just wasn't a great team this year. But he's had games where he's ripping down 10, 12 rebounds, and he's had games where he's scoring in the 15 to 21 points per game. That's big. And if you can get 6 points, 8 rebounds a game out of this guy next year, that's exactly what you need. You're not looking for a big score out of Miles Rubin. You were looking for somebody to anchor the post and the interior because, look, you're losing Okpara, Carey, Estrella, and Phillips. Now, Phillips didn't play much of the year, but Carey, Estrella, and Okpara, where's your interior? Dwayne Brown is back, but you're going to need some more guys, obviously. So looking at some potential portal targets for Tennessee, because obviously right now there's 5 guys on the team, and unfortunately you can't throw that roster on the court. So who else is Tennessee looking at? A bunch of guys. I'll just go ahead and say it. It looks like Tennessee is doing the Michigan route, doing the, well, you look at the teams in the tournament, that made the big run, the Illinois, who brought in a bunch of, not too many transfers, but did bring in their fair share of transfers, and Michigan, who was mostly made up of transfers. I mean, I can just name 4 of their starting 5 right now that I know were not at Michigan the year before. Elliot Cadeau, who was at started in North Carolina. Yaxel Lindeborg was at UAB. Morez Johnson was at Illinois, and Ade Mara was at UCLA. So you can build a team and win the national championship out of the portal. Dusty May proved that this year. So the point guard Terrence Hill Jr. from VCU, I believe, is arriving on campus. If he's not there right now, is arriving at some point today. That's going to be a big one. That could be your point guard next year. And Hill had a great year for the Rams last year. See if we can pull up Mr. Terrence Hill. 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, the 6'3 guard from Portland. Just a sophomore, so you'll be getting him for 1, maybe 2 years. This guy went for 34 against North Carolina. I mean, he is an absolutely electric player and hit 7 threes. I wouldn't necessarily look for this guy to be a huge scorer, but, man, if you can do that to North Carolina, you can be on my team. Another guy that Tennessee is heavily trying to get, Juke Harris, the sophomore guard from Wake Forest. Probably more of a forward. He's standing at 6'6", 6'6" to 6'8" range. 21 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. This is the guy you want, and I'm talking really bad. The NIT averaged 23 points per game. Went for 30 against Cal. Had a 22-point performance a game against Clemson. I mean, just looking at some of the games he had this year, this is a guy that wins you basketball games. This is a guy that wins you championships. 38 points against Boston College in a game where his team scored 67. 31 against NC State. 25 against Louisville. I mean, this kid's absolutely insane. Back-to-back 28-point games against FSU or against UNC and Miami. Man, it seems like all these guys good at scoring on UNC. I mean, multiple 30-point per games, and it feels like the Nate Ament case of, boy, other than that 31-point per game to end, 31-point game to end the season, and one in the middle, he was sitting at the 28, 29, 27. This is a guy that wins you basketball games, and this is a guy that unfortunately was a case of good player on a bad team because Wake had nothing around him. If this guy can be the centerpiece of a good team, look out. Tennessee was second on his recruiting out of high school. So, they definitely had an eye on him now. They're going heavy in for Juke Harris this year. Another guy you need to keep your eye on, Jalen Harrelson, the forward from Notre Dame. He, I'll say, is a... What's the best way to put it? He is the good player, not the best coaching staff. Former McDonald's All-American, averaged 17 points per game this year as a freshman, 4 boards, 2 assists. Another guy that's in the 6'6" to 6'8" range, so probably looking at maybe a potential 3 or 4. More consistent. Only had, 3 games this year where he scored in single figures. In that game, one of those games he played 12 minutes. The other one he played 21, and the one other one he played 31 minutes. That game he didn't make a shot, but he only took one. Okay, so it looked like he had a game from the line that night. But this is a consistent scorer. Isn't going to blow you away with the 3-ball. Obviously, doesn't really have much of a 3-ball. But, man, he gets in the paint and he scores. Mid-range, insane. This is if you can get Hill, Harris, and Harrelson to go along with Ames and Lundblade and potentially maybe one of these other guys I'm about to mention, this could be a very, very dangerous Tennessee team that I think is probably just a big guy away from, me buying my Final Four tickets and heading to, I think it's in, where's the Final Four in 2027? That's a good question. 2027, Detroit. Sure, I'll go to Detroit. Ford Field. Seems like a fun place to be. So some other guys Tennessee is looking at, a name that some Tennessee fans may know, Money Williams, averaged 20 points per game this year, a junior out of Oakland, California. Played a game in Knoxville last year, in his sophomore year, where I think he had 21 points for his team that night. This kid's a pure scorer, and I mean, you can do it from 2, from 3. Was a 49% from the field, 34% from 3, and he was taking 4 threes a game. If you can get 3 threes out of a guy every night, boy, and we'll just have 1 year of eligibility left, but I mean, this is a 20 point per game guy. I don't care what level. If you can do that at 20 points per game in the Big Sky, then you can put up 6 to 8 points per game in the SEC. That would be a really, really good guard you can bring in off the bench. Another big man that Tennessee kind of in a fight for right now is somewhat a local kid to the area. Thomas Dowd from Troy, from Dothan, Alabama, was 14-10 this year for the Trojans. And again, we remember that Troy team that made the NCAA tournament. Dowd didn't have a great game in that one. Kind of had some turnover problems in that one. But this is another big guy that can put up 10 points, 10 rebounds, kind of that kind of build at 6'8". It's not going to be as big of a Tennessee team as next year. There's just not that level of guy in the portal. It's hard to get a dominant big man out of the portal. But another name to keep an eye on, Jaden Hastings, forward out of Boston College, 7 points, 7 rebounds. That's exactly what you need. Just a big body that can go out there and rebound. Now, didn't play crazy minutes early in the season, but really found his role there at the end of the season for that Boston College team. Another name I would sort of keep an eye on is Najee Hines, 6'10" big man from Seton Hall. Another 7 rebounds or 6.7 rebound kind of guy. But I've also heard some speculations that maybe Harris and Harrelson could be a bit of a package deal. If you're able to get both of those guys, just look out. It could be a fun year in Knoxville next year. So that's going to do it for this Wednesday edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. We will be back Friday. We'll break down the Thursday action in high school baseball and softball, and then we will preview this upcoming weekend of college baseball because we got a good bunch of series to talk about. So that will be on Friday. So for Michael Marks, you've been watching the Mark My Words Show on the X Sports Network. Have a good day, everybody.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.